Consulting is one of the most competitive industries to get into, and getting an internship from a top consulting firm is even more cutthroat. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 experiences that you can have even when you don't have any internship in consulting. And these are the experiences I personally included in my CV to help me get interviews from McKinsey, EY, Deloitte. Some of them are what others have used to get offers from BCG, Strategy and Accenture. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. First, market research experience. Consulting is all about solving complex problems for clients. They look for candidates who have ability to analyze data, think critically, and present information. In market research, you are required to conduct in-depth research and data analysis for clients. For example, a company is planning to launch a new product into UK market, which is a fitness tracking device. Your task is to conduct research to understand if it's a good idea to launch into the market and how big is the market, and eventually to come up with different plans for market entry. By working in market research, you gain that problem-solving and analytical skills, which are critical in consulting. Having market research shows that you can think critically and systematically. On top of that, in market research, you are required to present your findings in a compelling and clear way that mimics a consulting situation, in which communication is the key to explain and influence critical stakeholders. And one side fun fact is a lot of consulting firms actually hire market research companies to outsource their research part so that they can get the data, get a final conclusion from a lot of market research companies, and they don't have to do that themselves. There are market research companies like Ipsos where they sell data reports to consulting firms like McKinsey. And by getting involved in market research company, it really allows you to build that insider information about consulting firm and critical connection to then allow you to jump into consulting successfully. This then leads into the second type of experience that you can get, which is business development in startups. In startups, BD is usually required to do multiple things, from strategy to operation, as well as sales plus market research. This exposure really mimics the type of project and the diversity of project that you are required to do as a consultant. So for example, as a BD intern, you might be required to do market research, to design a plan to go to market, and as well negotiating all of the deals, everything in one internship. So this leads you to build 3 important skills by doing BD. First, understanding the business model. BD positions in startups really requires you to understand exactly how a business operates, and you're going to learn how to win client and deliver results. You're going to learn how to create proposal, understand the client requirement, and how to deliver them up to their expectation, and even how to maintain your client relationship. And these are all the fundamental skills and knowledge needed for a consultant, which then leads to the second most important skill that you are going to develop, which is client management. In a business development role, you are constantly involved in interaction with clients, potential clients, vendors, and you need to do meetings, presentations, and help build the materials for the pitch. All of these are going to help you to build that critical communication and client management skills, which are essential for consulting. For example, in BD, you might be required to prepare a presentation to use for pitching to a new client, which teaches you the insight and framework for you to interact with senior stakeholders. And third, you're going to gain the real insights into business strategy. Because working in BD, you need to understand how do sales work with marketing, how does the marketing funnel look like, how does the sales system look like, what are the numbers looking like. And this would allow you to go deep into business analysis, which is an important skill needed for consulting role. Getting an internship in BD in startups is a lot easier than getting an internship opportunity from top consulting firm. But at the same time, you get involved in so many different things, which are super important skills and experiences for you to demonstrate how this can be used for consulting role. Now, the next 3 experiences I'm going to mention are going to be a lot easier to get for students. And the third one is industry-specific experience, which means that you work for a specific industry and you apply to industry-specific consulting. So for example, if you are interested in telecom industry consulting, and if you have experience in working in telecom industry, it doesn't matter if it's BD or sales or any other kind of roles, as long as it's the same industry, then that means the knowledge that you have gained is going to be so much more valuable, can be very much transferred when you're trying to jump from the industry to consulting. And the reason behind that is you have that extra advantage by understanding the industry dynamics. Because as a consultant, you are required to learn and pick up information super fast in the new industry. You quickly need to understand the industry trend, the client situation, their product information, and their challenges. And if you have a prior experience in working in that specific industry, it's going to speed up your learning process so much faster. But not only that, you're going to have additional insights just because you have worked in that industry. You understand a lot of information that might not be available publicly. What that means is if you work in consulting, it will be so much faster and easier for you to understand your client pain point, their issues, and it will help you to design the better recommendation for your clients. So for example, if you previously work in healthcare industry and you're trying to break into healthcare consulting, then the industry knowledge, how hospital works, how patients are seeing, how is the hospital different, the differences between private public hospital, how they funded, all of these is going to be so much more valuable, and it will be your assets and weapons that you can use to then help with your client. And the bonus point is, it's going to help you stand out in the application process because companies really value applicants who have prior working experience in that domain and industry. So by you having that additional work experience in the industry will help you stand out and make you a preferred candidate in the whole application process. Second, it's going to help you to build the credibility when you are speaking the client's language. For example, if you work in life science and you have all of the lingo and jargons, if you're able to understand the lingo and be able to say them in front of your client, it's going to give you sound more posh and your clients tend to trust you more. And that means as a consultant, you bring additional value to your firm. And that also means you are more likely to build a good relationship with your client because you understand their exclusive lingo and jargons. That means you are part of the circle too. Which also means you're more likely to have easier conversation, more conversations, and more things to discuss with your clients, which is always good for client relationship management. And last, if you have worked in industry, you are likely to bring additional connections that other candidates are not able to. Because in consulting world, it's all about learning about new industry, quickly finding out solutions and brainstorming new ideas. And if you have the connection where you can quickly dial to and ask them questions to solve a problem where it might take you, 2 to 3 days, if you can call them up, which solves within 10 minutes. And that means it's so much more effective and can be saving a lot of costs for your company. Which then leads to the fourth experience that you should have if you don't have any consulting internship, and it is leadership and initiative experience. What that means is, have you started something out of scratch? And consulting firms really love candidates who have demonstrated entrepreneurial spirits and leadership even in a non-work setting. For example, you can be organizing a big event within university or taking a major leadership position within a society, sports team, or volunteering organizations. And that also includes starting your own project or even your own business. Because by starting something new and leading a project, that demonstrates your strong accountability. As a consultant, you often require to lead your team or a project to actually deliver quantifiable, measurable results. It's not the type of results where you feel, okay, we have done the social media marketing, we have improved our branding, but how does that actually equate in terms of numbers? If you have successfully managed a team to complete a project, that shows you are someone who is definitely hungry for success. So for example, if you led your society to increase the membership by 30% or organize the fundraising event, which is above the KPI, then it's essentially saying you have very strong ability to plan very carefully, to execute right, and eventually to achieve the desired result, or even better, succeeded the target. And on top of that, being a leader also means that you have the ability to influence other people, and the ability to persuade and convince other people is very important in consulting setting, because that's what you do day in and day out as a consultant, influencing, interacting with your clients. But not just for clients, since you'll be working in a team, your ability to influence and inspire other people to do even better for your team members, that's also important for the whole team performance. And which is, again, this is the type of skill that is required by most of the organizations. They really love the fact that if you're upbringing, uplifting, and you can negotiate and also influence other people successfully. But the most important skills that you are going to demonstrate by being a leader is your resilience and your resourcefulness. And this is all tied into having an entrepreneurial mindset launching something from new, having to deal with setbacks and failures. How do you create something extraordinary out of limited resources? These are all the important skills needed for such a fast-paced and a challenging environment in consulting. And unfortunately, if you don't have any access or you were not able to gain any of these above skills, then the next thing you can do is case competition or case projects. Because this really gets you into an environment where you're actually solving a case for an organization. And this gives you the familiarity of how a consulting project is done, how does the hierarchy look like, how is each team involved, what's the responsibility of each team, how big is the team size, and how do you engage from the beginning to the end of how you actually work with a client. And this can involve participating in kind of case competitions, or joining some student consulting group and completing some pro bono consulting projects, or you can be even doing internship in smaller consulting firms. Even though doing case project or competition is not exactly the same as working experience, like in BD, industry, but what it does is it gives you that technical knowledge. Specifically, it will give you the understanding of how to solve case and also the frameworks involved. Because consulting is all about structured thinking. And having exposure to these case work would allow you to understand key frames like SWOT analysis, profitability, MISI, which stands for mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. And it's a perfect opportunity for you to not just practice, but really apply the case frameworks that you have learned to an actual project. Second of all, by joining this competition and completing case project, it really shows your interest and your commitment to consulting. Because it shows that you're not someone who just say, oh, I want to get into consulting because it's fancy, it can help me to develop XYZ skill. But by you actually doing the case and actively participating in competition, it shows that you have actually started doing that, you've taken an action, even though it was not actual internship, but you have done something extra and go beyond to really gain the experience in solving competitions and gain the experience in solving case projects. Not only your interest in consulting is shown, but also signals to the recruiter that you already had that exposure and the insights in what consulting actually looks like. You already have that familiarity of the consulting lifestyle. And you already have the familiarity of what consulting lifestyle looks like. Because in consulting project, even though it's not in a company, it mimics the scenarios, the team size, the type of project, the engagement with the client to a real life consulting project. And it gives you the opportunity to really practice all of the skills you have learned in the consulting world, which includes problem solving under strict deadlines and also your ability to handle ambiguity. Now, these are the top 5 things that you can do without a consulting internship. If you want to learn how to break into consulting step by step, watch this video and I'll see you there.